Hey guys, it's Tom here. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, coming to you from Perth, WA. Let us know where you're coming from. Let us know if you've got any questions. I'm here to answer your questions tonight. Let us know what you're struggling with. I'll do my best to help. Let us know where you're from. Hopefully we get a few questions tonight. It's Jack. Tips with the cut shot. Carrie. How are you, Carrie? Thanks for joining, Carrie. Zach from SA. Thanks, Zach, for joining us. Liam from New Zealand, Auckland. Thanks, Liam. Who else we got? Carrie's coming from Perth. Good on you, Kaz. Tell us where you're coming from, guys, and then we'll get into some questions. Okay, we'll start with the cut shot. Before we get there though, Andy, hey Andrew, someone else, Macca's Moody, g'day Macca's, Keno, our man, Keno in Sydney, he'll be doing next Sunday. G'day Keno. Zach is from New South Wales, how are you, Zach? Life of Ashman from India, Benna from Perth, Benna, good work Benna, good to see you on, hopefully you learned something here mate. Tips for the scoop shot. Alright, we've got some questions rolling in. Milan, hello mate, someone else from India, Nikesh. I want to bowl as fast as I can. Someone from Hong Kong. Alright, we've got a good question here. Hey, from which point onwards do you stop moving and watch the ball while batting? When the bowler jumps, or when he releases, or after it is released? Thanks. Okay, I think the most important thing is when the ball's released is you're completely still. So you can be moving when the bowler jumps, but you've got to be completely still when the ball's released, because your foundation of your batting is being still and then being able to react forward or back. So if you're moving when the ball's released, you're gonna be in trouble. So you've got to be still at release. You can be moving, you can be shuffling or whatever you want to do, but when the bowler jumps, a lot of blokes take a little trigger forward or back or whatever, but when the ball's bowled, you've got to be still. So it's all about being still at release, not falling over, not moving around at all. So that was a great question. Mitch, welcome Mitch. Paul, yep, the pies were beautiful today. Collingwood, my team got it done. Made me very happy this afternoon. Mitch has said, how to get runs when facing good spells. Great question. So something that I think is really important when you're facing a really good spell is just trying to get off strike. Having good communication with your partner and trying to get off strike. Try and pinch singles where you can. It's also, depending on the state of the game and what sort of format it is, there's nothing wrong with just soaking up a good spell, because you know generally you're either going to get some runs from the other end, or the bowler's going to tire and you're going to be able to, if you can get through the spell, you're going to be able to cash in later on. So I'd say really know where your singles are, try and have good communication with your partner, steal some singles around you, short cover, square leg, point, wherever it is. If the field's a bit deep, drop and run. Be really conscious of where your off stump is, be really good at leaving the good balls. Try not to get drawn in playing outside off, but it's about sort of trying to get off strike, really. That's the main thing. If they do bowl one in your area and you can get it away, that obviously releases the pressure. So knowing your game also helps. Knowing where you're going to score your boundaries really does help. If they bowl short and wide and you're a good cutter, be really looking for that cut shot. But it's all about not panicking, not letting a good spell make you feel panicked. You've just got to relax, take a deep breath, just take each ball as a new contest, each ball as a different contest. Rootsy's joined us. Thanks, brother. Thanks for joining us. We got Manage, Vicky from India. Gamzy, any tips for leg spinner to develop new deliveries? Look, I'm not a leggy, so it's hard for me to say. We're going to have our leg spin coach, Ryan James, on here in the next few weeks, but you just got to get down the nets and just practice things. Bowling leggies is extremely difficult. You've just got to get down the nets and trial things. You just got to always have a ball in your hand. Ryan talks about always having a ball in your hand. You hear Warning on the TV. He often talks about just always having a ball in your hand. You've got to spin the ball from one hand to the other. If you want to bowl a new delivery, you want to try something new, you've just got to be practicing. You just got to get in the nets and try things. There's no magic formula. There's no easy solution for a leggy. You just got to go and try things. You want to bowl a googly, you want to bowl a top spinner, you've just got to get in the nets and practice. Try things. Don't be afraid to tinker. Don't be afraid to try. Chris Rogers wrote a great article for us this week about tinkering with your game and always trying new things and always trying to find a way to adapt and become better. So as a leg spinner, that's hugely important. Get down the net, always have a ball in your hand and just practice. Even if you don't have a batter, you just go down the nets and practice. Just try change your position on the crease, your angle, change your pace, change your wrist position, all sorts of different things. So I hope that helps, and like I say, we'll have Ryan on here giving some leg spin coaching in the next few weeks. Wes Robinson. Wes, thanks for joining us, mate. One of Wacker Cricket's great blokes and great cricketers. Thanks, Wezza. We might have to get Wes on here one day as well. We've got Samiz says, tips, hang on, I've pressed something here. Tips for fear of failure. Great question. Now, fear of failure is something that we all suffer from at some point or another. We all want to succeed, we all want to do well, but the fear of failure is something that suffocates us and really holds us back from performing as well as we can. So for me, something that's worked over my career is just trying to accept that the result is out of my hands. So I try and get my preparation and my training as good as it can be, and then when I go out, before I go out to play, I say to myself, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever happens today, and then I say to myself, whatever happens, happens. Often, the result of the game is out of our hands. So it could be you get a bad umpiring decision, you play a great shot, but someone takes a screamer. If you're a batter, things can often go against you. So you've got to accept that you're going to fail. You're not always going to succeed. So if you can accept you're going to fail, it takes that weight off your shoulders and it just allows you to play with a bit more freedom. So even the best players in the world fail. No one in the history of cricket has ever scored 100 every time they've batted or taken 10 wickets every time they've batted. Every single player fails at some time or another. The best players minimise their failures. They're able to be consistent and they're able to score runs and take wickets consistently. Even when they're not feeling great or they're not on, they're still able to score runs, but they still fail. So I think a great way to release the fear of failure. And now, fear is something we talk a lot about in our peak performance program. We've got a whole topic on fear, and the fear of failure is covered a lot. So these sort of things we're talking about, we go into a lot more depth on that. And the peak performance program is a 12-week online mindset training program. So let us know if you're interested in finding out more about that. But the fear of failure can just be released by accepting you're going to fail at times and just saying, get your preparation right. Focus your energy and your attention on getting your preparation right, training really hard, and then just going out and saying, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to give it my best shot today, and if I fail, so be it. Next time I play, I'll do better, I'll perform. But try and release that pressure that we all put on ourselves. I've got to score 100 today, I've got to take wickets, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Whatever happens, happens. That's something that's really helped me in my career. So, Samini, I hope that works, mate. We've got a few extras coming on Facebook. Reedy, Brendan, Becca, my beautiful fiance, and Stocko. Thanks, guys. A little bit different to last Sunday, Stocko. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We got some questions rolling in on Instagram. Rahul says, hey, how to judge swing while playing? Very good question. It's quite difficult to judge swing, I think. It's something that comes with experience. Like leg spinner, there's no easy solution to anything. It's all about practice and gaining experience. So you can try and pick which way the bowler's fingers are coming off the ball. So if they're coming down one side, they might be bowling in swing. If they're coming down the other, they might be bowling out swing. I think you can also get a lot of clues from what sort of fields they set. Generally, they're going to set leg side fields if they're bowling in swing, and they're going to set offside fields and quite a few slips if they're bowling out swing. So I think you can get a few clues, but it just really comes from experience. When you're playing swing, you've got to be still. If you're committing early, you'll get in trouble. You've got to be really still, and you've got to try and move late. Because if you see a line and if you see the line, you move to it, and it swings, then you get in trouble. You've got to try and be really still, see the ball come in the hand, let it move, and then move late and try and back yourself. Trust your judgment, trust your body to hit the ball when moving late. Pumper Armstrong, well done, mate. 154 not out for Teddington yesterday in the English Middlesex Premier League. On fire, Timmy boy, to neat. Now, who have we got here? Jake Winden. How do I turn the ball more as a leg spinner? Oh, look, again, I'm not a leg spinner, so it's high bowl off spin, but it's hard to say. So a lot of it is about just having a smooth action and having a good wrist position. Who's that, Jake? We will have our leg spin coach Ryan James on our chat in the next few weeks. We're putting together a spin program at the moment, and we're going to have him on for some of our daily videos and also our live chats, because we've had a lot of people contacting us about leg spin. So we will just hang tight, Jake. We'll get the expert on, and he'll be able to help you. He's a great spin mentor, and he'll be able to really help you with how to do that. But again, it's just trialling things. I said it a little while ago, it's all about trialling. Get the ball in your hand all the time, go down the nets, and always be bowling. Mark MF, thanks for signing my mini bat, Tom. No worries, I don't know when that happened, but no worries. Right, what else have we got on Instagram? Runny, thanks a lot for answering my question. You're a legend. Thanks, mate. You're a legend too. Hunter, have any good tips for running between wickets? Aussie. Running between the wickets is something that is really important in cricket, and something that can be underrated. You really need to have a good communication with your partner, which is obviously extremely important. And I think you can practice it. Running without your gear on is completely different to running with your gear on. So make sure you're practicing in your training sessions, getting your full kit on and doing some run-throughs. At my first grade club, our cricket club, we have to do run-throughs with all of our gear on after we bat. We run about 25 run-throughs up and back after we bat. I sometimes do it before I bat so that when I bat, I'm quite fatigued and it's like I've been batting for a little while. So just make sure you're practicing running with your gear on. Other than that, some shuttle runs without your gear on you can do, but running between the wickets is all about experience. Learning when you can and can't run, and a good understanding with your partner. Brad Gardner. Brad, hope you're going well in Sydney, mate. Here things are going well there. Would you put your hand up to field at silly mid-on, Tom? I certainly wouldn't put my hand up. If I had to, I would. And I have had to in the past, but I certainly don't enjoy it. I'd much rather be in slip or mid-off or somewhere that's a bit more comfortable. I fully respect all the guys that do get into silly mid-on all the time. Gumsy says, how to develop leg spin? Oh, so many leggy questions. We're going to have a leg spin coach on in the next few weeks, guys, so I'll leave it there for the leg spin. I do more batting myself, so we'll get our leg spin guru to come on and help you all with your leg spin stuff. I've done a few answers on leg spin already. How do you hit a ball when it is above your waist and there is a fielder next to you? I guess you mean a pull shot. So a pull shot, who's asked that? Sanaj Joshi. So a pull shot, it's all about going back and across. It's a bottom hand shot. It's not so much going back and across with your feet, but just getting your body weight transferred back and across. So just watching the ball onto the bat, trying not to turn your head too early, and then just swinging through with your bottom hand, controlling, trying to either hit it down or up. So if your fielder's next to you, there's probably a gap behind him, so just trying to pick the gap. Vicky, we got Greggy Dow, Luca Dillon. How are you, boys? Thanks for joining. What else is happening on Instagram? We got Hunter. Thanks for joining us. Life of Ashman, are you an all-rounder? I'm more of a batter, but I have, over the last few years, I've sort of turned myself into a bit of an all-rounder. I bowl off spin, and I think it's hugely important for young cricketers to make sure you've got at least 2 facets of the game. Everyone has to, these days, you really need 3. Everyone has to be a good fielder. If you're not a good fielder, you won't get picked in teams. And then if you're a bowler, you need to be able to hold the bat. You need to either be able to hold up an end in longer form cricket, or you need to be good at whacking out the park. And if you're a batter, you need to be able to bowl a few overs. In this day and age, you can't get away with just being a great batter and a shocking bowler and a shocking fielder. You need to be good at it all. I myself have developed my off spin so that I can hold up an end if needed, but I'm mostly a batter. Hunter, we've already answered running between the wickets. Follow-up question from Runny. I sometimes stay still for a second longer, and sometimes I take a wrong step forward the moment the ball is released. Any suggestions to move at the right time? It's just practice. It's just timing. Everyone's different. You've just got to try and get your trigger done early, and then just be still. And it's all about your head position. If you're moving early, it's your head. Your head leads, and your foot always follows. If you're sort of falling over, your foot always has to land, move, so that you don't fall and flatten your face. So it's all about keeping your head still. Don't let your head fall over to the offside. So get that trigger done early, and then just nice and still. You should have your weight evenly distributed. Always looking to come forward, because they're going to be the fuller, faster balls. But and they're the more dangerous balls, but you've got to be ready to go back if needed. So you want to have a good distribution of your weight so you can go forward or back. So Runny, hope that helps, mate. Zach's asked a question on Facebook. I'm finding it hard to spin the ball out the top of the hand on the 45 degree and tend to spin the ball with a horizontal seam. My grip is a standard spinner's grip. Any tips? Again, it's just practice. If it's a release thing and a grip thing, I think go back to the basics. Just get a ball in your hand and just go, even from a metre away, just practice getting that right motion, getting that what you want to do. Just go over and over, hundreds and hundreds of times. Just get that motion with the ball in your hand. Get that feeling coming out of your hand. So if you're going too far horizontal, then yeah, or maybe this way, yep. So you've got to then just practice getting it feeling right. Just go a metre away, then go 5 metres away, and then even if you're just chucking at the start, just chucking to get the release right, then you can incorporate that release into your action, into your bowling. So I hope that helps, Zach. Right, we've got a bit going on Instagram. It's hot in here tonight. I'm getting red in here. Standard. How a left-hander outside swing the ball? I'm not sure what you mean there, mate. I'll move on to the next one. How to leave the short ball cleaner. So leaving the short ball is you've either got to get your bat up high, raise your bat and let it pass sort of underneath, or you've got to drop your hands and sort of sway out of the way. So it's just about being decisive. Like any shot, it's all about making a good decision and then executing that decision. So it's all instinctive. The higher you go, the higher the levels you play, the faster the bowling. It's all instinct. It's all subconscious. So it's either if it's sort of waist high, you might lift your hands up, let it just pass by, get your bat and gloves right out of the way. If it's shorter and it's coming through chest high or above, you might be in a position with your hands high to hit it. You might either be looking to block it, or you might be looking to pull it, and then you just drop your hands and get out of the way. So Jake, hope that helps, mate. Rootsy wants to know how to put more revs on his stock ball. Rootsy's a great spinner. He doesn't need too much help. He's an spinning guru. He's one of our mentors here in Perth. So thanks for the question, Rootsy. We'll get you on here as well one day. Help keeping the runs ticking as an opening batsman. Great question. I think as an opening batsman, it's about knowing your areas. Any batsman for that matter, but an opening batsman, you might be leaving more balls, so you might not be scoring off as many balls. But as an opening batsman, there's a lot of gaps. There's more gaps than if you bat in the middle order. So I think it's just knowing your areas, knowing where you're going to score your boundaries and knowing where you're going to score your singles. And so when you know where, you've got to know which ball you want to score off. So if you might have certain little zones or little areas on the wicket where you want the ball. So if it's full and just outside off and you're a good cover driver, that's your zone. So you want it there, and that's where you're going to score your boundary. If it's a bit shorter and outside off, that you might leave it. But if it's straight and a bit shorter, you might be able to tuck it off your hip for a single. So knowing your areas, knowing what zone on the wicket where the ball bounces, and it's going to vary from wicket to wicket. On a very good wicket, your zones will be bigger. You'll be able to hit the ball in the up a bit more, it'll come on nicely. But on a slower wicket or a wicket that's seaming a bit, you might make your zones a bit more narrow, make your zones smaller so that you're not playing the big shots or the loose shots. So just really knowing your zones, and as an opener, knowing where your off stump is. So if it's outside your eye line, you might leave it. But really, just to keep the scoreboard ticking and the runs ticking over, it's about trying to get off strike as well. Trying to pinch a single into cover where there's no cover, or pinch a single into mid-wicket, or get across your stumps. And if it does get sort of outside your eye line, then you can get a single down the fine leg. So Ishi, that's also going to be covered in our program on how to play pace bowling, which we're finalising at the moment. We've been doing that for the last couple of weeks, getting our videos together and finalising that. So Ishi, if you're interested, there'll be a lot more info on that, on how to play our pace bowling program. All our programs are on our website. And on that note, we've had a lot of people contacting us about fitness programs. And Simon has done a great job, and I've sort of assisted a little bit, but Simon has a background in strength and conditioning coaching, and cricket strength and conditioning especially. He's been a personal trainer for 10 years, and he's put together a number of cricket-specific fitness programs, and they'll be ready to be released at the end of this week. So if you're interested in a cricket program, we're going to have programs for beginners, intermediate, experts, if you've done a lot of weight training or fitness training, and we're going to have sort of programs for power, speed, weight loss, endurance, all these types of things that are going to be really specific for what you need as a cricketer. So if that is something that interests you, then send us a message on either Instagram or Facebook, and we'll be launching that later this week and letting you all know the information about that. So Gumsy says, thank you, no worries. Nikesh, tips for the short ball. Again, that'll be in our how to play pace program. Playing the short ball is all about being decisive. I just said it before, with any shot, the short ball especially, because you've got a few options. You can either sort of ride it, you can duck it, you can sway it, or you can take it on. A lot of people get in trouble when they're not decisive. They're either playing in between. They're sort of half pulling, half riding it, and they sort of pop it up, or they're half ducking and half defending and they pop it up, or they take their eye off it and they get hit. So playing the short ball is all about being decisive, and it might vary from bowler to bowler or day to day or wicket to wicket. Me personally, I will take the short ball on once I'm in. I probably won't take it on straight away. If I'm facing a fast bowler, if I'm facing a quick bowler, I'm always looking to get forward first, because I think that's where I'm most vulnerable. That's where their fastest balls are going to be. If they go short, then I'm going to probably duck under it, or if it's not that short, I'll get back and I'll try and block it back to them, or I'll let it go. So it's all about, and then once I'm in, then I'll sort of will have assessed the pace of the wicket, the pace of the bowlers. Then I might take the short ball on. So it's all about being decisive with your decision making, and really having a plan and a clear plan in your mind before the ball's bowled. So you sort of need to tell your subconscious, okay, I'm going to duck this guy if he bowls fast, and have that sort of clear in your mind. And then when it happens, your subconscious goes bang, and you're under it quickly, because you're not going to have time to think. Or you might say, okay, I'm going to sway, again, if it's at you, sort of swaying's a tough one, because it's hard to sway out of the way. So you sort of might be looking to ride it, and then it comes sort of a bit higher and you sort of sway out of the way. So it's just about practicing it. A lot of people don't practice the short ball enough because it's out of our comfort zone. People want to be good at playing the short ball, but they don't practice it at training. Go and hit lots of half volleys. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. You want to train. You want to make it so your training or your practice is harder than the game. So if you're facing someone bowling 130 k's an hour in a game, you want to practice so you're facing, it's like you're facing someone 140 k's an hour, so that when you go and face the bloke bowling 130, you can deal with it. And I know that the Aussies and the English and all the best sides, the international sides, the first class sides, they're always putting the players, the coaches are putting the players, and the players do it themselves. They're all the captains of their own game. They put themselves out of their comfort zone. They make it so their training is really tough and uncomfortable, so that when they get that in a game, they're ready for it and they're used to it. It's not really scary and foreign. So playing the short ball is something you've got to practice. You've just got to take it on. You've got to really be decisive in your decision making, and then just stick to your guns. And then, yeah, so just go away and practice as much as you can. So I hope that helps. That was Nikesh. Hope that helped, mate. Mohammed, how do I turn the ball a lot as an off spinner? As an offie, it's about just getting momentum in your run-up. It's about having a good wrist position. For me, I did a video this week that's coming out on Tuesday for our Technique Tuesday. I did a video about you've got to spend time on your front foot. My sort of spin coaches, and Ryan always talks about spending time on your front foot, because that means you're going to get a good pivot in, and you're going to really get some more revs on the ball. So the more revolutions you can get on the ball, the more it's going to spin. Now, some people get a lot of revs and it's overspin, and it'll hit the wicket and sort of not spin sideways as much, but they'll get more bounce. A lot of other people get more side spin, or hit the wicket and spin sideways, but they won't get as much bounce. So the best bowlers are the ones that can get both. Nathan Lyon is great, and he gets a lot of side spin and a lot of overspin, so he gets a lot of spin and bounce. Ashwin is a bit more overspin, but you've got to work with what assets and attributes you've got, Mohammed. So if you're someone who's tall and you don't get a lot of overspin, but you get more, you don't get a lot of side spin, but you get more overspin, just work with that. You might only need the ball to spin a couple of inches in, and then the batsman can then be unsure if one's going to go straight and bounce high, or one's going to spin in a little bit. So we are putting together a spin bowling program, which will be ready in the next few weeks. So again, that might be something that you're interested. Shushan said, how to play a spinner. That's a very broad question, and we do have a program on a masterclass program with over 30 videos on how to play spin bowling. So, mate, check that out, Sushran. It's on our website. Yeah, spin bowling masterclass, how to play spin. You should get all the answers there. 25 minutes in, we'll look at wrapping up shortly. Couple more questions. Stuart, tips, Jake, tips for dancing down the wicket. Again, it's a decision-making thing. I think for me, I like to take a big first step. I always want to take a big first step to get as close to the pitch of the ball. And then I'm able to adjust the size of my second step depending on where the ball lands. So if the ball's close to me, I can take a short second step. If the ball's a bit further away, I might take a bit bigger second step. I don't want to overstride, but I'll then be able to adjust the size of my second step. So I always want to take a big first step, and I always go down the line of off stump. I want to go down the line of off stump, and then I can react and adjust. If it's outside off, I get my body weight across to the offside. If it's straighter, I can go straight. If it's the outside leg, I can get my weight and head going towards the ball there. So for me, there are a couple of basics. Again, Jake, that's covered in a lot more detail in our masterclass program on how to play spin bowling. So again, check that out. It's we've still got a 50% discount on at the moment, so that's certainly worth getting. We've had some really great feedback on that program, and like I say, it's got over 2 hours of videos. Simon and myself spent many days putting that program together, and it covers dancing down the wicket, sweeping, defending, pulling, cutting. It's got everything in there. So yeah, check that program out, Jake. But hope those couple of tips helped. And not much happening on Facebook. We got Brad there. I missed a few things here. Who's better at batting, you or your brother? Oh, Brad, I've got Clancy covered every day of the week. Rowie, thanks for joining us. Jake, you messaged me the other day about the national chance and asked how it went, and you went, well, thanks, mate. Thanks for letting us know. Wiles, thanks for joining us. Well done, Jakey. What drills can I do to increase my reaction time? From Caleb. Denash, Caleb, how are you? Josh Barrett, thanks for joining. Gussie Robson, yes, Charm. Muffin, good work, Muffin. Muffin's good at dancing, not just down the wicket. But so increasing your reaction time from Caleb. I think it's just getting uncomfortable. So get someone to come close to you. Get someone to come even half the pitch. When I've practiced with some of the best players I've played with, they're always challenging themselves and they're trying to minimise their reaction time. They're always saying, come closer, come closer, come closer. And I'm pegging them as hard as I can, and they're always saying, come closer, come closer. And I'm almost halfway down the wicket throwing as fast as I can, but they're just really keen to get out of their comfort zone because they know that, like I spoke about a little while ago, they're going to face that sort of thing when they play in a game. So, Caleb, I think there's no magic pill, there's no sort of anything you can do in particular to increase your reaction time. It's just about getting out of your comfort zone. So I hope that helps, and we'll look forward to having another session with you soon. We'll start wrapping up. Thanks everyone for joining us. We're half an hour in now. Brendan, thanks for joining, legend. Gussie, yep. Me and Muffin, two of the great men. Any ideas how to get more revs on the ball? I answered that a little while ago. Horsey, what else? Maccas. Okay, Dinnock, how do you judge the length against spinners? Very good question. It's just you get used to it with experience, but it's just about watching the ball closely, and every spinner is going to be different. So some spinners are going to fly it up a bit more and it's going to land fuller than another spinner that might fly it up. Other spinners are going to bowl flat and bowl a bit shorter. So judging length is just being still and getting really used to, trying to get used to that bowler. Every bowler, the best spinners vary their pace, vary their line, vary their length. So it's just about getting used to that spinner. You always want to look to come forward and try and own that sort of area just in where the ball's pitching. But if it's spinning and bouncing, the best players generally use their crease well and go right back on their stumps and hit the ball at the top of their bounce. So for me, I always want to be attacking against spinners. I always want to be really positive to spinners. I think that puts the pressure back on them and it minimises the area that they can bowl in. So great question. I hope that helps. Haz, thanks for joining us. Haz from England. Hope all's well at Eastcote. Last question before we wrap up, guys. What do we got on Instagram? how do I deliver the ball faster in a match? I had someone else message us earlier and ask, I bowl faster in the nets and I don't bowl as fast in a game. And I think, I'm not a pace bowler myself, but I think that's a mindset thing. I don't think our body does anything different from the nets to our game. I think that in the nets, we're able to play without fear. We're able to just run in and bowl as fast as we can, or as a batter, you're able to just play all your shots. There's no real accountability. If you bowl a bad ball, so what? If you play a bad shot, you get another chance. So I think you've got to somehow try and take that mindset into a game as well. So you've got to really try and release that fear of failure, where you're just worried about bowling a bad ball or whatever it is, or if you're batting, worried about getting out, because we play with all this sort of baggage, we play with all these worries and fears that it restricts our performance. So you've really got to try and just let it go and do whatever you're doing at training. Just try and do that in a game. Just try and relax and just whatever happens, happens. I spoke about that at the start of the video, releasing the fear of failure. If you're not bowling as fast in the game as you want to, it's because you're tense. It's because your body's a bit tense. You've got to really relax. A great way to relax is taking a deep breath. Take a deep breath before you bowl. Take a deep breath before you face up as a batter, and just try and relax. Try and back yourself. Try and trust yourself. Just take it one ball at a time. I said on my post today, being successful is all about being in the present moment, having your attention in the present moment. Our body is always present. It's not in the past or not in the future, but our mind is often in the past, in the future, worrying about who's watching, worrying about the results, worrying about our average, worrying about all this other crap. When we can get our mind in the present moment and it connects with our body, that's when we play our best. That's what we call being in the zone. So in a game, you're probably not bowling as fast because you're thinking you've got all these thoughts and all these worries. You've got to try and relax and try and let go of them. Just trying to let go of that fear of failure and just run in and let your body be relaxed and let it do what it's got to do. Right, I hope that helped. That was Sard. I hope that helped. Right, legends, thanks very much. We've got heaps more questions there, which I can't get to, unfortunately, but we will be, we've mentioned on our Instagram story, we're starting a membership site in the next few weeks. In there, we'll be doing chats like this more often. We'll be doing smaller group chats where we can really try and help more people. We'll also be able to have you guys send us some footage, and Simon and myself and our other mentors will look at the footage and give you some tips, some guys who might not have access to coaching in certain areas. So we'll be setting that up in the next few weeks, and we'll be letting you know all the details for that. We'll still be doing our sort of Sunday night lives and our free coaching videos. But we will be probably cutting them back a little bit and doing a lot more in our membership area. And we've got our online programs as well, which we've mentioned earlier tonight. So please send us a message if you've got any questions or you do need help. We'll do our best to get back to you. We have been getting smashed with questions, which we love and it's great. We're getting lots of great feedback. People are saying how much we've helped them, which we really, really appreciate. So thanks everyone for that. And we will try our best to get back to you as soon as we can. Don't sort of get too upset if we haven't got back to you within a few days. We will do our best to get back to you. I hope you've all got some value tonight. We both, Simon and I, love doing these Sunday night lives. Thanks everyone for joining us, and that is me out of here. Speak to you soon.